Have you ever felt that the noise of the world is deliberately trying to drown out a song that only your soul remembers? There is a cacophony in the modern world, isn't there? It is not merely the sound of traffic or the endless chatter of screens, but a deeper, more pervasive static. It is a frequency of urgency, of distraction, of constant wanting and perpetual dissatisfaction. This noise is designed to keep you looking outward, always searching for the next thing, the next solution, the next validation. It tells you that the answer is out there, somewhere in the chaos. But you, somewhere in the quietest part of your being, you feel a profound disagreement. You sense that this external noise is a lie, a carefully constructed distraction designed to make you forget something essential. It's a feeling that can be deeply isolating. You walk through a world that seems to thrive on this dissonance, and you wonder if you are the only one who feels this way. You wonder if you are somehow broken or out of step for craving a silence that the world seems to fear. You feel a pull towards something ancient, something quiet, something real. This feeling is not a weakness, it is a memory. It is the faint echo of that original song, a vibration that hums beneath the surface of all things. It's a resonance that whispers to you in moments of stillness, just before sleep, or when you look up at the stars, or when you truly listen to the silence between the notes of a piece of music. It is the memory of a harmony that you were once a part of, a harmony the world has forgotten how to hear. This feeling of being out of tune with society is one of the most honest experiences you can have. It is the cry of your inner self, recognizing that the reality being presented to you is incomplete. It is your soul reaching for its native frequency. You are not meant to resonate with the static. You are built for the music. The constant pressure to conform, to adapt to the noise, to find your place within the chaos. It feels like you are being asked to forget your own name, to forget the sound of your own voice. The exhaustion you feel is not just physical or mental, it is a spiritual exhaustion. It is the fatigue of holding a note of harmony in a room full of discord. It's the deep, aching tiredness that comes from pretending that the noise is normal, that the static is all there is. But the fact that you feel this ache, the fact that you are even aware of this dissonance, is a sign. It is a sign that the memory is not lost. It is simply dormant, waiting for you to turn down the volume of the world and begin listening, truly listening to the silence within. Today, we are going to close the door on that outer noise, just for a while. We are going to journey into this very feeling, not as an escape, but as a homecoming. We will speak of the esoteric blueprint of ancient sound, the hidden knowledge that suggests reality itself was not built from matter, but was sung into existence. This is not a metaphor. This is an exploration of a lost understanding, a wisdom held sacred by the pyramid builders, the Vedic seers, and the mystics of every tradition. They knew that frequency and vibration are not just properties of the universe, they are the universe. We will explore how they used this knowledge, how they understood that specific frequencies could influence consciousness, heal the body, and even shape the physical world. We will look at how sound was seen as the first act of creation, the divine breath that gave form to the formless. This journey is about remembering that you are not just living in the universe, you are a frequency. Your thoughts, your emotions, your very cells are all vibrating. And the key to coming back to yourself, to finding that inner peace you long for, lies in rediscovering your own unique, sacred tone. This conversation is not a lecture. It is an invitation to remember. You will not be asked to believe anything, but to feel. We will delve into the forgotten power of chanting and mantras, not as religious rituals, but as tools for tuning the instrument of the self. We will consider the resonant properties of sacred sites and why they were built in specific locations, aligned with specific energies. We will touch upon the idea that the physical world you see around you is like a standing wave, a pattern held in place by a constant, underlying vibration. And most importantly, we will explore how you can begin to apply this ancient wisdom in your own life, right now, to quiet the static and amplify the song of your own soul. This is about moving from a state of being constantly affected by the world's noise to becoming the one who consciously chooses the frequency you inhabit. It is about reclaiming the power to create your own reality from the inside out, using the oldest and most fundamental tool in existence, sound. This is a quiet space, a sanctuary for the conversations our souls have been waiting to have. If what I am saying resonates with you, if you have felt this disconnect and this longing for a deeper harmony, let us know in the comments below. Sharing your experience is not just talking into a void, it is adding your unique note to a growing chord of remembrance. It helps others who feel isolated to realize they are not alone. Your voice matters here because your frequency is part of the music we are trying to recreate together. And if this is the kind of exploration that your spirit has been searching for, I invite you to subscribe to the Vault of Nyros. By doing so, you ensure that you will not miss these ongoing journeys into the heart of ancient wisdom and the depths of the inner world. It is a way of saying yes to your own journey of remembering and joining a community of fellow travelers who are also learning to listen again. The ancient Greek mystic and mathematician Pythagoras, a man who profoundly influenced Western thought, is often credited with the phrase, "There is geometry in the humming of thestrings, there is music in the spacing of the spheres." Let's sit with that for a moment. This is not just poetry. This is a foundational principle of reality hidden in plain sight. When Pythagoras said, "There is geometry in the humming of the strings," he was speaking of his direct, physical experiments with a single-stringed instrument called a monochord. He discovered that musical harmony, the notes that sound pleasing together, were not a matter of opinion. They were a matter of mathematics, simple, elegant, whole number ratios. A string plucked at half its length produced a perfect octave. At 2/3 of its length, a perfect fifth. He discovered that harmony was rational, it was predictable, it was built on a foundation of divine order. He saw that vibration, the humming, created patterns. It created structure. It created geometry. This is the very essence of cymatics, the modern study of how sound creates visible geometric patterns in matter like water or sand. Pythagoras knew this 2.5 millennia ago. He understood that sound was not an invisible, fleeting thing. It was a formative architectural force. The second part of his statement, "There is music in the spacing of the spheres," expands this principle from the microscopic to the cosmic. This is the famous concept of musica universalis, or the music of the spheres. Pythagoras and his followers believed that the sun, the moon, and the planets in their orbits and rotations all produced a silent, celestial hum, a sound that was inaudible to the human ear, but was mathematically perfect, creating a vast, cosmic symphony. They believed that the distances between the planets corresponded to musical intervals, that the entire cosmos was a single, resonant, harmonious instrument played by a divine hand. What does this mean for you now, in this moment? It means that the universe is not a silent, empty void with random clumps of matter. It is a song. It means that harmony is the natural state of being. And it means that you, your body, your consciousness, your soul are an instrument designed to play in concert with this cosmic music. The anxiety, the depression, the feeling of being lost, this is what dissonance feels like. It is the experience of an instrument being played out of tune. The wisdom of Pythagoras reminds us that the path back to ourselves is not about adding something new, but about retuning what is already there. It is about remembering the song you were born to play. So, with this foundational understanding, let us now go deeper. Let's move beyond the idea of sound and begin to explore the feeling of it. Let us trace the echoes of this creative force through the ancient world, and more importantly, through the inner corridors of your own being. The knowledge is not just in the history books, it is encoded in your DNA, in the silence between your thoughts, in the rhythm of your own heart. Let us begin the work of listening, not with our ears, but with the full attention of our soul. We are going to find the threads of this sonic blueprint and see how they weave through all of reality. Let's begin. The primordial hum, sound as the first creator. So, where do we begin to trace this sonic blueprint? We must begin where all things begin, before the light, before the stars, before thought itself. We must go to the great silent potential that existed before the universe took form. Try to imagine it. The human mind struggles with this, doesn't it? Our minds are designed to perceive things, objects, boundaries. We think in images and forms. The idea of a true nothingness is almost impossible for us to grasp. But the ancient wisdom did not see this beginning as nothing. They saw it as everything. held in a state of pure, unmanifested potential. It was a profound, cosmic silence, but not an empty silence. It was a silence pregnant with all possibility, a stillness that contained all motion, a darkness that held all light. And into this boundless, silent potential, the first event occurred. What was it? It was not an explosion in the way we think of one, a violent, chaotic event. It was something far more subtle, more fundamental. It was a disturbance in the silence, a stirring, the first single, perfect vibration, a hum, a tone that rippled through the fabric of pure potential, giving it the first hint of structure, the first impulse toward becoming. This is the deepest secret of creation, shared across cultures and continents, hidden in the heart of their most sacred stories. The universe was not built, it was sung into being. The first creator was not a mason or a builder. The first creator was a voice. This idea is the bedrock of the world's oldest spiritual tradition, the Vedic knowledge of ancient India. At the heart of their cosmology is a single, sacred sound, AUM, or OM, AUM. To the modern ear, AUM might seem like a simple chant, a sound made during meditation. But to the rishis, the ancient seers who first heard it in their deepest states of consciousness, AUM was not a word that represented God or creation. It was the sound of creation itself. It was the vibrational signature of existence, the primordial hum that continues to resonate through every particle of the universe to this very moment. They called it the pranava, the sound that precedes all others and runs through our breath, our prana, our life force. Let's take a moment to feel the depth of this. The seers taught that the sound AUM is composed of 3 distinct syllables, followed by a 4th silent part. Represents the waking state of consciousness, the physical world you see and touch. It is the beginning, the birth, the outward expression of reality. It resonates in the lower part of the body, the gut, the foundation of our physical being. When you make this sound, you can feel it vibrating deep within your torso. It is the sound of manifestation, the moment the unmanifest becomes manifest. It is the world of form, of name, of separation. It is the reality we spend most of our lives in, believing it to be the only one that is real. Then comes the you, who. This sound represents the dreaming state, the subtle world, the world of thoughts, emotions, memories, and astral planes. It is the realm that exists behind your eyes, the inner landscape that is just as real as the outer one, yet made of a finer substance. The vibration of the oo sound moves upward, resonating in the chest and throat area. It is the transition, the journey inward from the gross to the subtle. Think about your life. You are not just your physical actions, the A state. You are your dreams, your hopes, your fears, your inner world, the U state. The ancients understood this inner world was not just random noise, but a crucial layer of reality, a bridge between the physical and the divine. The 3rd syllable is M. This represents the state of deep, dreamless sleep. It is the experience of pure unity, where there is no sense of self, no thoughts, no world. There is only undifferentiated consciousness. It is a return to the source, a temporary dissolution of the ego and the mind. The humming sound vibrates in the head, in the skull, at the crown. It signifies the coming together of all things, the collapse of duality. In dreamless sleep, you are not a man or a woman, rich or poor, happy or sad. You simply are. You touch the state of pure potential from which you came. Every single night, you rehearse the process of creation and dissolution. You journey from the manifest world, through the subtle world, and back to the unified source. But the most important part of AUM is the 4th part. It is the silence that comes after the sound has faded. This silence is not an absence of sound. It is the source of all sound. It is the unmanifest potential, the pure consciousness, the canvas upon which the other 3 states are painted. It is the state they call Turiya, the 4th. It is the reality that underlies everything. The ancients were telling us something profound. The physical world, the dream world, and the world of formless unity are all just vibrations, temporary expressions of a vast, silent, eternal consciousness. The ultimate reality is the silence from which the first hum emerged, into which it always returns. So when you feel overwhelmed by the noise of the world, the A state, and tormented by your own thoughts, the U state, the path to peace is to remember the silence that is your true nature, the M state and beyond. You are not the noise. You are the silence that hears it. This same understanding, this sonic genesis, is found in other traditions, cloaked in different language. In the creation myths of ancient Egypt, it was the god Ptah who brought the world into being. How? Through the power of his heart and his tongue. It was said that he first conceived of all creation in his heart, the seed of consciousness, and then he gave it reality by speaking the names of things. The thought in the heart was the blueprint. The spoken word was the act of creation. The very names of the gods, the elements, the creatures, they were not just labels. They were the resonant frequencies of the things themselves. To speak a name was to summon its essence, to give it form. This is why the spoken word was considered so powerful, so magical. It was not a symbol for reality. It was an extension of it. The universe was an act of divine utterance. We can hear the clearest echo of this in a text that is deeply familiar to the Western world, the opening of the Gospel of John. In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God. For centuries, this has been interpreted primarily as a statement of faith. But let us look at it through an esoteric lens, as the mystics would have. The original Greek term for word is logos. The logos does not just mean a spoken word, it means the divine ordering principle. The underlying reason, the structure, the logic of the cosmos. It is the divine thought, the cosmic blueprint. So, in the beginning was the logos is another way of saying, in the beginning was the divine pattern, the fundamental vibration. And when it says, and God said, let there be light, it is describing creation as a sonic event. A divine command, a frequency, is issued, and out of that sound, light and form appear. It's the same story. Vibration precedes manifestation. Sound gives birth to light. This is not just ancient mythology. This is ancient science expressed in the language of spirit. Our modern science is only just beginning to catch up to this intuition. Our most advanced physics, in theories like string theory, suggests that at the most fundamental level, all particles, the electrons, the quarks, the photons that make up you and me and the stars, are not solid points. They are unimaginably tiny, vibrating filaments of energy. Strings. And the difference between a particle of light and a particle of matter is simply the frequency at which its string is vibrating. The universe, in this view, is a cosmic symphony of vibrating strings. Pythagoras was right. There is geometry in the humming of the strings. The ancients did not have super colliders or complex mathematics to prove this. They had something more powerful, a profound, inward-looking consciousness. They listened. They felt the truth of it in their own being. So what does this mean for you, sitting here, listening to this? It means that you are not as solid as you appear. You are not a static object moving through a dead world. You are a symphony. You are a collection of trillions upon trillions of vibrating atoms, which are themselves vibrating strings of energy. You are a being of frequency. Your thoughts are frequencies. Your emotions are frequencies. Love has a high, fine frequency. Fear has a low, dense frequency. Your physical health is a state of harmonic resonance, where all the cells and organs of your body are playing their part in the song of your being. Illness, in this view, is a form of dissonance. It is a part of the orchestra playing out of tune, creating discord in the whole. Think about the language we use without even realizing it. We speak of good vibes or bad vibes from a person or a place. We talk about resonating with an idea or a person. We say we feel in tune or out of tune. This is not just metaphor. This is your subconscious mind speaking a deep, ancient truth. You are constantly perceiving the frequencies around you. You are constantly broadcasting your own. That feeling of unease you get in a tense room, you are feeling the dissonance. That feeling of peace you get in nature, you are resonating with the harmony of the living world. The primordial hum that created the galaxies is not something that happened long ago and then stopped. It is still happening right now. It is the force that holds your very atoms together. And the deepest, most quiet part of you, the silence behind the M of AUM, remembers this. It knows that you are not separate from this creative sound. You are this creative sound taking a temporary, beautiful human form. The first step in reclaiming your power, your peace, and your purpose is to simply remember this. To remember that you are music, the resonant self, the voice as a tool of creation. In our last moments together, we touched the edge of a profound truth, that the universe was born from a primordial hum, a sacred vibration. We saw how this single creative impulse echoes through the wisdom of the Vedic seers with their Aum, the Egyptians with their creative word, and the mystics who heard the divine logos. But this knowledge can feel distant, can it? Cosmic, grand, something that happened out there long ago. But what if that creative power was not a relic of the past? What if it wasn't something you had to look for in the stars? What if the most powerful tool for shaping reality, for tuning your own being, was given to you at birth? What if it is as close as your own breath and as present as your own voice? The ancients knew this. They understood that the macrocosm of the singing universe is perfectly mirrored in the microcosm of the human being. The cosmic hum, the pranava, is intrinsically linked to your own life force, your prana, the very breath that fills your lungs right now. With every inhale, you draw in the potential of the universe. And with every exhale, you have the opportunity to shape that potential with sound. Your voice is the instrument that turns the unmanifest breath into a manifest vibration. It is your personal, inherited piece of the creative power of the source. It is a tool of immense power, a tool that most of us have forgotten how to use. In our modern world, we have made words cheap. We spill them constantly, carelessly. We use them to label, to judge, to complain, to fill the silence we have come to fear. Our speech has become part of the static, the very noise we long to escape. But in the ancient understanding, a word was never just a word. Every utterance was an act of creation. This is a truth hidden in our own language. Think of the words we use. We talk about spelling a word. Why that term? Because to arrange letters in a sequence was understood to be casting a spell, an energetic instruction sent out into the world. When you speak, you are literally casting spells all day long. The words "I am tired," "I am broken," "this is hopeless" are not just descriptions, they are incantations. They are frequencies you are introducing into your own energetic field, and they are instructing your cells and the universe around you on what reality to create. The word incantation itself comes from the Latin incantare, which means to sing into or to chant upon. To speak was to sing a reality into being. This is the first and most fundamental step in reclaiming your sonic power, to become conscious of the spells you are casting every day, to treat your words not as disposable comments, but as sacred vibrations. What reality are you singing into yourself with your habitual speech? Are your words building a temple of harmony inside you, or are they reinforcing the walls of a prison of despair? This isn't about blaming yourself. It is about waking up to the power you have always had. It is about realizing that your voice is not for gossiping or complaining. It is for defining and creating your world. The shift from unconscious speaking to conscious creation is the first great turning point in the journey of remembering. The ancient cultures did not leave this to chance. They developed sophisticated sciences of sound to intentionally cultivate specific states of being. The most well-known of these is the science of mantra. The word mantra in Sanskrit can be broken down into two parts: manas, meaning mind, and tra, meaning tool or instrument. A mantra is, quite literally, a tool for the mind. It is not a prayer to an external deity begging for intervention. It is a specific engineered frequency that you introduce into your own system to achieve a predictable result. It is a tuning fork for the soul. How does this work? The principle is one of physics and consciousness combined. It is the law of resonance or entrainment. Imagine you have two tuning forks of the same pitch. If you strike one and make it vibrate, and then bring the other one close, something magical happens. The second tuning fork will begin to vibrate on its own, resonating with the first. It becomes entrained to the frequency of the first. Now think of your mind. In its normal state, it is a chaotic place, isn't it? A storm of conflicting thoughts, worries, fears, and memories. It is like 1,000 different tuning forks all vibrating at dissonant frequencies. This is the source of our anxiety and inner turmoil. A mantra is a single, powerful, stable frequency. When you begin to repeat a mantra, either out loud or silently, you are introducing this powerful, stable vibration into the chaos of your mind. At first, the chatter fights back, but as you continue through the power of repetition and intention, the chaotic frequencies of the mind begin to surrender. They begin to entrain to the singular, harmonious frequency of the mantra. The storm subsides. The waters of the mind become still. This is not magic in the superstitious sense. It is the physics of consciousness. You are using a sacred tool to bring order to your own inner chaos. This is why repetition, known as japa in the Vedic tradition, is so crucial. A single utterance of a mantra has an effect, but sustained repetition transforms your entire being. It is like the effect of water dripping on a stone. One drop does nothing, but over time, millions of drops can carve a channel through the hardest granite. The dissonant patterns of thought and emotion in your being are like that granite. They have been worn into place by years of habit. Repetitive chanting is the steady, patient application of a harmonious frequency that slowly, gently, but powerfully wears away the old patterns. It bypasses the analytical, critical part of your brain, the part that doubts and argues, and delivers the vibration directly to your subconscious mind, to your nervous system, to the very water in your cells. It is a deep cellular cleansing through sound. While there are thousands of mantras, each with a specific purpose, we can explore some of the most fundamental sounds that work directly on the human energy system. The ancient seers mapped the subtle body, identifying key energy centers, or chakras. They discovered that each of these centers had a seed sound, a bija mantra, a single syllable sound that would cause it to resonate and awaken. These are not words with translatable meanings. They are pure sonic keys designed to unlock the dormant potential within you. Let us start at the base, the foundation of your being. The root chakra at the base of the spine is your connection to the earth, to stability, to your physical body and your sense of safety. Its seed sound is lam. When you chant this sound, a deep, slightly nasal lam, you are sending a vibration directly to this center. Try it, even just in your mind. Lam. Feel its grounding quality. It is the sound of the earth. When you feel anxious, disconnected, fearful, or ungrounded, the repetition of lam is a powerful way to call your energy back home into your body, to feel solid, secure, and present. Moving up to the sacral chakra, just below the navel, we find the center of emotion, creativity, flow, and relationship. Its seed sound is vem. Chanting va sends a vibration to this area of the water element within you. Vam. Feel its fluid, flowing quality. When you feel stuck, emotionally rigid, uninspired, or creatively blocked, the frequency of VAM helps to dissolve that rigidity and restore a sense of graceful movement and flow to your emotional and creative life. Next, we arrive at the solar plexus, the center of your will, your personal power, and your identity. Its seed sound is Ram. Ra, This is the sound of fire. Feel its energetic, activating quality as you chant it. Ram. It resonates in your core, your center of strength. When you feel powerless, indecisive, or have a low sense of self-worth, chanting Ram helps to ignite the fire of your inner will, to build confidence, and to empower you to act in the world with purpose. From the fire of the will, we ascend to the heart center, the bridge between the lower physical chakras and the upper spiritual ones. This is the center of love, compassion, connection, and healing. Its seed sound is Yam. Yup, This sound is not the fire of Ram, nor the water of Vam. It is the sound of air, of expansion, of balance. Yam. Feel how it opens the chest, creating a sense of lightness and spaciousness. When you feel grief, resentment, loneliness, or a sense of separation, the frequency of Yam is a gentle balm. It helps to dissolve the armor around the heart and allows the boundless energy of unconditional love to flow through you and from you. It is here, in the heart center, that we get the first glimpse of the Anahatanada, the unstruck sound, which we will speak of soon. Above the heart, we reach the throat chakra, the center of communication, self-expression, and truth. Its seed sound is ham. Ha, Feel how this sound naturally vibrates in the throat. Ham. It is the sound of ether, of space. It is about creating the space for your truth to be expressed. When you feel unable to speak your truth, when you feel unheard, or when your communication is blocked, the repetition of ham helps to clear this channel, allowing for authentic, clear, and compassionate expression. It connects the feelings of the heart to the words of the mouth. Finally, we reach the head. The third eye, the center of intuition, wisdom, and inner sight, resonates with the primordial sound itself, AUM or OM. Chanting this sacred syllable here, focusing the vibration between the eyebrows, helps to awaken your inner knowing, to see beyond the illusion of the physical world, and to connect with a deeper wisdom. And at the very crown of the head, the thousand-petaled lotus, the gateway to universal consciousness, the sound is said to be the silence that follows Aum. It is the ultimate resonance where the individual song merges back into the cosmic symphony. This is not a system to be memorized. It is a map for you to experience. You don't need to believe in it. You only need to try it. Take 5 minutes and chant Lam, feeling for that sense of grounding. Take 5 minutes and chant Yam, feeling for that openness in your chest. You are your own laboratory and your voice is the key. This practice of toning, of using your voice as a healing instrument, is your birthright. It is the ancient science of self-tuning, and it is as available to you now as the air you breathe. The journey of sound does not end with chanting, however. The mantras and tones are tools. They are the boats that carry you across the choppy waters of the mind. But what is the destination? The destination is the shore of silence. The true purpose of using your voice is to finally be able to hear the sound that is already there, beneath the noise. To hear the voice of your own silence, the unstruck sound of your own being. And that is where our journey will take us next. Temples of tone, sacred architecture and sonic geometry. We have journeyed from the edge of the cosmos, listening to the primordial hum that sang the stars into being. We have traveled inward, into the sacred chamber of the self, to rediscover the creative power held within our own breath and voice. We learned that the human being is an instrument, capable of using mantras and tones to retune our own chaotic frequencies and find harmony. But the journey of sound does not end there. The final step is to understand how this inner harmony interacts with the world around us. What happens when a tuned instrument is played in a perfectly designed concert hall? The sound is magnified, clarified, and elevated to something divine. The ancients understood this perhaps better than anyone. They did not just tune themselves, they built the concert halls. Their most sacred structures, their temples, their pyramids, their cathedrals, were not merely places of worship. They were acoustic technologies. They were resonant engines, meticulously engineered to amplify specific frequencies, to alter human consciousness, and to build a bridge of sound between the physical and the spiritual realms. Look around at the buildings of the modern world. They are designed for function, for efficiency, for cost. We build boxes of steel and glass. We think of a building as a dead shell, an inert container for our lives. The ancients saw things very differently. They knew that form has a frequency. They knew that matter is not solid, but is condensed vibration, and that the shape you give to matter determines how it will vibrate. They knew that the mathematical ratios in a room's dimensions, the specific type of stone used in its walls, the angle of its passages, all of these things contributed to the building's unique song. They practiced a lost art, sonic architecture. They built their temples not just to be seen with the eyes, but to be felt with the body and heard with the soul. They were creating environments where the veil between worlds would become thin, where a human being could more easily hear the unstruck sound of their own heart, the anahata nada, because the entire structure was built to echo that very sound back to them. Thus let us travel in our minds to the Giza Plateau in Egypt. Let us stand before the Great Pyramid. For centuries, we have been told it was a tomb for a pharaoh, a grand monument to a king's ego, and perhaps it served that purpose on one level. But many have felt, and esoteric traditions have always taught, that its primary purpose was something far more profound. It was not a house for the dead, but an engine for the living. It was a tool of initiation, a resurrection machine not for the body, but for consciousness. And its primary mechanism of action was sound. Modern researchers venturing into its chambers with sensitive acoustic equipment have made discoveries that are astonishing. They have found that the core chambers and passages of the Great Pyramid are not silent. They resonate at a constant, deep frequency, a hum that is largely below the range of human hearing, but is felt as a deep vibration in the body. The structure seems to be gathering the vibrations of the earth itself and focusing them. Inside the so-called King's Chamber, built entirely of solid granite, the acoustics are unlike anywhere else on Earth. The granite, rich in quartz crystals, has powerful piezoelectric properties, meaning it can convert physical pressure into electrical energy and vibration into a powerful, stable field. The stone coffer, or sarcophagus, within that chamber has been found to resonate at a specific frequency when struck, a frequency that corresponds to the F-sharp chord. Many spiritual traditions and sound healers associate the frequency of F-sharp with the heart chakra. Now imagine you are an initiate, having undergone years of spiritual purification. You are led into this chamber, deep in the heart of this massive resonant structure. The door is sealed. You are in total darkness and near total sensory deprivation. And then you begin to chant. You begin to tone, using the sacred vowels you have been taught. In this room, designed as a perfect resonator, the sound of your voice would not just echo, it would be amplified and sustained to an unbelievable degree. The entire chamber, the entire pyramid, would begin to sing with you. You would not just be hearing the sound, you would be submerged in it. It would be vibrating in every cell of your body. Chanting the frequency of the heart in a chamber built to amplify the frequency of the heart, what would that do to your consciousness? The traditions say it would create a state of profound resonance where the initiate's consciousness could safely separate from the physical body. It was a machine for inducing a controlled out-of-body experience, allowing the soul to travel the inner realms, to understand that it was not the body, and to lose all fear of death. The long, narrow shafts pointing out from the chambers, once thought to be for ventilation, are now seen by some as sonic waveguides, precisely angled to capture the frequencies of specific stars, funneling cosmic energy into this initiatory chamber. Whether you accept these ideas literally or as metaphor, the core principle is profound. The Great Pyramid can be seen as the ultimate instrument for a human being to experience their own eternal, vibrational nature. This principle of sonic architecture was not unique to Egypt. Let us now travel forward in time and across the sea to medieval Europe. Let us step inside one of the great Gothic cathedrals, like Notre Dame or Chartres. Look up. The pointed arches and vaulted ceilings soar hundreds of feet into the air, drawing your eyes and your spirit upward. We see this as beauty, as art, but it is also a masterful work of acoustic engineering. These cathedrals were built for one specific type of sound, the Gregorian chant. A Gregorian chant is made of single notes, sung in unison by many voices, rich in pure vowel sounds. When these notes were sung inside these cathedrals, the vast stone interiors with their calculated angles and immense volume created an incredibly long reverberation time. A single note could hang in the air for many seconds, blending with the next note and the one after that. The singers were not just creating a melody, they were weaving a complex tapestry of sound. They were creating a sonic bath. For a person standing within that space, the sound was not coming from the choir anymore. It was coming from everywhere. The sound filled the space entirely, vibrating in the stone floors, in the wooden pews, in the very air you breathed. It dissolved the sense of separation between you and the music. It dissolved the boundaries of the ego. It induced a state of awe, of reverence, of connection to something larger than yourself. It literally slowed down your perception of time because each moment was so full of sound. The cathedral was the instrument, the choir was the breath, and the human soul was the one being played. This ancient knowledge reveals a stunning concept. Sacred geometry is a form of frozen music. The harmonic ratios that Pythagoras discovered in a vibrating string are the very same ratios that can be found in the dimensions of the Parthenon in Greece, in the layout of Stonehenge, and in the design of Chartres Cathedral. The architects were not just creating pleasing proportions. They were building a silent, stable chord into the very stones of the structure. The building itself held a frequency, It was a constant, silent prayer, a tuning fork for the entire landscape. When you entered that space, your own chaotic energy field would naturally begin to resonate with the harmony embedded in the building's very form. The healing, the balancing, the connecting. It began the moment you stepped across the threshold, before a single word was spoken or a single note was sung. So, after this grand tour of pyramids and cathedrals, the question returns to you, right here, right now. What does this mean for your life? You may not have a pyramid in your backyard or a cathedral down the street, but you have a home, you have a room, you have a personal space. And that space too is an energy field. That space too has a frequency, and you have the power to tune it. You can create your own sacred space. How? You start by understanding that everything has a vibration. The physical clutter in a room creates energetic clutter. It disrupts the flow of energy and creates a kind of static. The first step in tuning your space is often to simplify it, to clear away what is no longer needed, to create physical space so that energetic space can exist. Then you introduce intentional sound. You don't need a choir of monks. The sound of a simple singing bowl, a bell, or a tuning fork can instantly break up stagnant energy and raise the vibration of a room. Playing calm, harmonious music can transform a stressful environment into a sanctuary. And most powerfully, you can use your own voice. Walk through your space and tone the vowels. Chant AUM in the corners. You are using your own resonant instrument to tune your larger environmental instrument. But the most powerful tool of all is your own consciousness, your intention. A space becomes sacred when you declare it to be sacred. Before you meditate, or sleep, or work, take a moment to hold a clear intention for your space. May this room be a place of peace. May this space support my healing. May this be a sanctuary of creativity. Your focused thought is a frequency. Your intention is a vibration that imbues the very walls and furniture with a purpose. You are programming your environment with your consciousness. You are the high priest or priestess of your own personal temple. So we see the complete circle. Creation begins as a cosmic hum. This hum is inherited by you and your voice. You learn to use your voice to tune the instrument of your body and mind. And then you use your tuned consciousness to create an outer environment, a sacred space that reflects and amplifies your inner harmony. The outer world becomes a mirror of your inner reality. This is the esoteric blueprint. This is the secret of the builders. You are not a victim of the world's noise. You are a creator of worlds. You are the instrument, you are the player, you are the composer, and you are the temple. Everything you need to transform your reality is contained within the universe of sound. And that universe is not out there. It is right where you are. We have traveled a long way together on this journey of sound. We began in the vast, silent potential before creation, and we heard the first primordial hum that sang the galaxies into existence. We saw how that cosmic blueprint of AUM contains the map of our own consciousness, the waking world, the dream world, and the deep silent source from which they both arise. Then we brought that infinite concept into the intimate space of your own being. We discovered that your voice is not just for speaking, but is a sacred instrument, a tool for tuning the very fabric of your reality through conscious speech, through the intentional vibration of mantra, and through the healing power of your own resonant tone. Finally, we saw how the ancients externalized this inner harmony, building great temples of tone, pyramids and cathedrals, not as dead monuments, but as living instruments designed to amplify the song of the soul and create a bridge between worlds. And so, after this long exploration, the mind naturally asks, what now? What is the solution? What am I supposed to do with all of this? This is a fair question, but the answer may not be what the mind expects. There are no empty promises here. There is no secret frequency that will instantly solve all of your problems. There is no magic word that will erase all of your pain. The transformational power of this ancient knowledge does not lie in a new set of tasks to add to your life. The true solution is not in doing anything at all. It is in a fundamental shift of perception. It is in learning, or rather remembering how to listen. The real practice is to begin listening to the world as if it were a song, because it is. Listen to the words you speak. Just for one day, witness them without judgment. Are they words of harmony or words of dissonance? Are you casting spells of lack and fear? Or are you singing a song of gratitude and possibility? Do not force change. Simply listen. The act of conscious listening is what begins the transformation. Listen to the sounds around you. Can you hear the difference between the frantic, chaotic frequency of a busy street and the gentle, harmonic rhythm of the wind in the trees or the waves on the shore? Begin to notice how these different sonic environments make you feel. Your body is the ultimate resonant chamber. It knows the difference between harmony and discord. Trust its wisdom. Most importantly, the great work is to learn to listen to the silence. Our world teaches us to fear silence, to fill it at every opportunity with noise, music, podcasts, conversations. But as we learned from the sacred syllable AUM, the silence is not an emptiness. It is the source of everything. The solution is to intentionally create moments of silence in your day. 5 minutes, 3 minutes, even 1 minute. Turn everything off, close your eyes, and just listen. At first, you will hear the ringing in your ears or the frantic noise of your own thoughts. This is normal. This is the static. But if you sit patiently, lovingly, with the intention of listening beneath the noise, you will, in time, begin to hear something else. A quiet hum, a stillness, the sound of your own being. This is the path. Not a complicated ritual, but a simple, courageous act of turning down the volume of the world so you can finally hear yourself. There is a vast difference between knowing something and remembering it. To know something is an act of the mind. You have listened to this, and now your mind knows about the primordial hum, about mantras, about sacred architecture. This is information. It is interesting, but it does not by itself change you. To remember something is an act of the soul. It is a feeling. It is a deep, cellular recognition of a truth you have always carried within you. The purpose of our time together was not to give you more information to store in your mind. It was to play a specific series of notes that might awaken a deep and ancient memory within your very cells. The memory of your own divinity, the memory of your own creative power, the memory that you are not a fragile, temporary body, but an eternal, vibrational being, a unique and unrepeatable song in the grand symphony of the cosmos. So the simple, realistic idea is this. Shift your focus from thinking to feeling. When you feel anxious, don't just think, I am anxious. Ask, what dissonance am I feeling? What frequency is this? When you feel peaceful, don't just let it pass. Savor it. Ask, what harmony is this? What does this resonance feel like in my body? Begin to relate to your life not as a series of random events, but as a piece of music. There are tense, dissonant passages, and there are beautiful, harmonious resolutions. All of it is part of the composition. Your new point of view is that you are not just a passive listener to this music. You are one of its composers. With every thought you choose, every word you speak, and every intention you hold, you are adding a note to the score. The solution, then, is simply to begin composing with awareness, with love, and with the deep, quiet memory of the song you were born to be. As we bring our journey to a close, I want you to feel this in the quietest part of your heart. You are not alone in these feelings. If you have felt like a stranger in this world, if you have felt that your sensitivity is a curse, if you have felt that you are hearing a different music than everyone around you, know that you are not broken. You are waking up. This feeling of alienation is the experience of an old soul remembering its true home. It is the pain of a high frequency being trying to exist in a low frequency world. Your sensitivity is not a weakness. It is your greatest strength. It is the antenna that allows you to perceive the subtle harmonies and dissonances of reality. You are part of a vast, silent family of seekers spread across the globe and throughout all of time who have always known that there is more to this life than what meets the eye. The very fact that you found your way here and stayed through this long, quiet conversation is a testament to the fact that your soul is listening and you are not and have never been alone. Let this be a validation of your inner world. Your inner truth is important. In a world that screams for your attention, that tells you to trust the experts, the influencers, the headlines, your deepest and most reliable guide is the quiet feeling inside you. It is that subtle sense of rightness or wrongness, of harmony or dissonance. That is your soul's resonant feedback. It is your unbreakable connection to the source. Trust it, nurture it, value it above all other voices. The world will try to convince you that your inner truth is just an opinion, a fantasy, a subjective feeling with no basis in reality. But we have seen that feeling, vibration, and frequency are the very basis of reality. Your inner truth is not a fantasy. It is the most real thing you will ever experience. It is your note in the cosmic song, and no one else can sing it for you. Do not let the noise of the world ever convince you that it is not worth singing. And finally, know that even if this path is difficult right now, and it often is, this is part of the journey. The process of tuning an instrument is not always gentle. Old strings, long accustomed to being slack and out of tune, must be tightened. They must be put under tension to hold a new, higher, clearer note. The discomfort you may feel in your life, the challenges, the moments of discord, do not see them as failures. See them as this sacred process of retuning. You are letting go of old, dissonant beliefs about who you are. You are releasing lifetimes of stored energetic patterns that are not in harmony with your true self. It can be painful, it can be confusing, but it is the work. It is the path of transformation. Every moment of struggle is simply the pressure required to help you achieve a new and more beautiful resonance. Be patient with yourself. Be compassionate with the process. You are a masterpiece in the making. And this is simply the part of the song where the beautiful tension builds, right before the magnificent resolution. We have shared many words. We have explored ideas that span from the birth of the universe to the chambers of your own heart. But all words, even these, are just fingers pointing at the moon. They are not the moon itself. They are vibrations designed to awaken something within you, and now their work is done. They will fade just as the sound of a bell fades, leaving behind only a subtle resonance in the air. As the screen goes dark and the sound of my voice disappears, you will be left with what is most important. Not the memory of my words, but the feeling they have awakened in you. You will be left with the silence. And in that silence, I leave you with this. The universe was not created and then left alone. It is being created in every moment, sung into being with every breath. You are not a separate audience watching the performance. You are a vital member of the orchestra. You have been reminded of the instrument you hold, of the power of your own voice, of the sacred song your soul remembers. The blueprint is within you. The silence is your canvas. Now that you have been reminded of the song, what note will you choose to be? Let the silence be your answer.